Okay, we're gonna give this a try, everybody. Good morning. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my system today. I've had always a little bit of issue getting every three different things kind of pulling together in my audio to go exactly where I want it to go. So another fun thing to try before next time, just see if I can get everything in line so I can hear you. I know you can hear me, and we got the video there. So we're going to continue this week with ski prep, and it's going to be a good workout, and I'm really excited about working on it. Last week I told you if you had a step, I mean, this is a little bit flimsy, but we're not going to be going at Mach speed like you might in an aerobics class. So it's just something that you can step up on, and we'll go not maybe that slowly, but we'll go at a decent pace. So if you have room in your space, if you don't, you can do these practices without stepping up. And I have my bigger step over here as well, but I might try this. This is a nice height. My step is a little bit shorter. I'm going to use my weights and a band. So let's go ahead and start with our band today. So finding the feet, feeling the feet on the floor. And just want to wake up the shoulders, wake up the arms a little bit. And in the process, I always get to feel the feet on the ground and check in with the body a little bit. So a little bend in the elbows, finding that nice place where you're getting just a little tug on the band and a little bit of opening there through the collarbones and also in the back body. So we're not pinching back here. We're not bringing those elbows back in this one. I'm just trying to be nice and broad all the way across. And softening the jaw, softening the forehead. Good. And releasing. Good. And then let's take that nice, again, you can work as hard or maybe as not so hard yet in this pull. And then let's take that up shoulder height. And drop into your feet. Let the knees have some softness to them. Notice if you're gripping through your sides of your legs or your backside. Could be deep in the backside. We could be kind of holding ourselves up. We have the ground to hold us up. So let your body settle into the feet, the heels, the balls of the feet, the toes. Holding here at shoulder height. Let's give ourselves a little bit more elbow bend, slowly pulling back toward the chest. And pressing back out and keep it nice and slow and just kind of watching. It feels a little fatiguing here already for me, but I also feel like I'm kind of dialing in. And dialing into those shoulders, deep in the shoulders. Nothing hurts, it's just feeling the muscles. So if it hurts at all, maybe dropping your arms a little bit. Pulling here, let's pause. And relax. Maybe you want to do a little bit of shoulder movement. Good. All right, let's take our hands a little wider. We're going to start right here where we were, and we're going to go overhead. Lifting the shoulder blades up, coming back down. Lifting the shoulder blades up, coming back down. The next lift, and down, and lift, and down. Always get a kick out of when I watch myself, one side likes to go up a little bit further than the other. And it's oddly my non-dominant hand. So it's like right side wants to be pulled down a little bit more, or left side just a little looser. Good, bad, I don't really know. It's just kind of interesting, right? Because I take that band up, see how a lot of times I'm this way. Yeah, maybe you are too. All the way up, let's pause here. And then turn your hands a little bit so palms are toward each other. That kind of broadens the upper back, right? Shoulders wrap around a little bit. Just a little, they don't have to do it a lot. And then let's take that to the side. And back up. And to the side. And back up. And up. And up. And bringing the arms back down. And then taking your band. And we're gonna have that underhand pull here, underhand fold. And we're gonna take that band up in front, up high here, and pull. And back up. And pull. And back up. Keep going with that. Pulling down in that chin up like way. Good. Got a little pull on the band. And then this kind of, I'm gonna pull myself up over that chin up bar. Giving myself the muscles in the back there. Maybe feel it in your arms. And last one. And bringing that down. Nice. All right. Okay, so last week we did a lot of classic ski movement, kind of in this parallel space, this forward gait. Today we're going to work a little bit more with what does it feel like to do the skate skiing. So think of pushing off and then balancing quite a lot. So there's pushing off, balance, and then we're going to work on a little bit of what the poles do, especially when you're heading up a hill. And this was part of that. So we're going to be working a little bit more with kind of that outside of the hip and the glute area with that kind of practice. But a lot of balance comes into it, as you know. I mean, you have all of this terrain that's different, right? So we won't have that as much today. But we're just going to work a little bit with that. So let's start with some sumo, just to get the legs warmed up. Put your band down. And exhaling, coming down, inhale, coming down, exhale. Good. And starting to warm up in the legs. If you wanted to give yourself more challenge, you could have your band, you could hold some weights. I'm just feeling good with moving the legs, moving the body weight so far. And coming down to pause right here. And notice where your weight is in your feet. So we can move side to side a little bit. And we can take ourselves forward a little bit so you can feel a little more pressure into the balls of the feet, the toes, spreading apart the toes and relaxing the face and jaw again. Let your hips come down just a little more, even though the weight is forward. It's not totally forward. I'm about 60-40 in the balls of the feet and the heels. Go ahead and feel your feet press down, slowly come out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then bringing the feet together. And bring the hands to the waist. We're going to step to the side and together. To the side and together. To the side and together. A little bend in the knee. Just working on landing nicely over there. Tapping in the center. Let's go to the other side. Tap, step, tap. Right. Good. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Move my stuff forward just a little bit. So I've got room behind me. I'm going to make a step, tap, big step, tap, step, tap, big step, tap, tap, or step, tap, step, tap. I'll say it in the right order so you don't get confused. Good. So bigger steps. And you could bring that foot right together or simply have the toes and I'm kind of bringing them behind. You don't have to, you can come right next to it. And we've done this before, right? This is part of what we've been practicing. Now let's practice balancing a little bit as we go to the other side. You can always have something on each side. A chair on one side, a wall on the other. And a little balance. If it gets too easy, no worries, we're going to make it harder. You could have weights in your hands. Put those weights over here. Put the weights over there. Put the weights over there. Put the weights down there. Right? So we can make it a little more challenging, even just throwing the upper body a little bit differently. Good. And then coming back. All right, let's take that into the center. Let's give a roll down. We're going to come back to those movements. Heart rate might be up just a little bit. That's fine. We might keep the heart rate up a little bit today during the middle of the class, beginning and middle. So just check in, let's see where you're at. And then with this roll up, just noticing the spine, the shoulders, and then settling into the feet again as you come up to stand. Good. Okay. So similarly, I think I am going to grab my weights. And they don't have to be very much weight. It might be kind of nice if mine were a little lighter than what they are. So I'm going to do the same thing we were doing, but now I've got that weight with me, and I'm going to do a little bit more of a jump, hold, right? I'm not going to, I guess I'm not jumping, but I'm going to actually want to stick my landing over there, stick the landing over there, stick, stick. And adding this weight definitely is a challenge. Feeling that core, the arms, the legs. Now, you don't have to go as wide as I'm going to get the benefit here, right? You don't have to have the weights. Notice how I've kind of lowered my center of gravity. Oh, taking that weight back there. Hold, hold, hold. Good. Come on into center. Bring your waist here to center or your arms. Let's keep the hips forward and let's give a little twist here. Now, the closer my weights are to my body, probably the easier this is. Hips steady, knees steady, toes forward. What if I bring those weights out a little bit? Harder on the shoulders. They just have to work. Good. And back to center. Good. All right. I'm going to use that step now. I'm going to take the weights down to the floor. And I should have a step stool from the house, right? Found it at Goodwill. I think it was used for lots of years. So I'm going to come up, step, and I'm going to go out to the side a little bit. So I'm going to actually find that spot that's not directly to the side, not directly back, that 45 out there. And I'm going to one side at a time. Notice I'm coming right off of the, there we go. Now I won't be out of the tap, out. So if I'm not with that step, step, back, step, back. Just adds a little bit to have that little step there. At home, I would use even my staircase. The first couple stairs seem to work for things like this. When Scott was doing a lot of cardio in the winter on the step, I just make it work. Good. Let's switch sides. That side's feeling pretty good there. Out and back. Out and back down. And if I'm on the floor, step, lift, and just take that foot back. Step, lift, foot can tap back. Good. Let's do a few more here. I'm trying to find that 45 degrees. Nice straight leg kicking back. Good. 3, 2, 1. All right. Feeling like I found some of that glute muscle back there, like that. Let's take that step out of the way. And I'm going to grab my elastic again. And if you're able to, go ahead and give your elastic, maybe you already have it, maybe it already is a ring, but if you can, go ahead and tie it. And then, oh, I need to tie it probably a little bit closer. So I'm going to give myself a little something to push against as I walk forward here. And I'm going to walk forward in kind of a funky way. So I'm going to back up just so I can have some place to go. And this is enough, like a little bit longer than your yoga mat is enough. So I'm going to make a big step forward. I could do a little bit smaller here forward so I have something to push on. And I'm making big steps to kind of a diagonal here forward. And now the challenging part, I'm going to go back, back, back. It's nice to push against something, but if this is all very confusing with the band, you can take the band out of it. You're going to have some benefit here. So again, just so I have something to push against, I'm giving myself a little bit smaller band here. And gonna make a big step, get a nice push. Step, push. Step. Step. And back. Back, back. Still get to push against the elastic, back, back. You can decide what we can call this. Some kind of monster walk is what one of the PT people said. You can kind of see a zombie-like walk with it. And I'm gonna go back, back, back. Anybody feeling that a little bit? I am. I'm kind of doing a little jiggle when I come back, really working on the muscles. Okay, let's give that a break. Check my, and I'm gonna grab my weights. Okay. I'm gonna take this into forward deadlift. And so that's where the weights, they can come down. We've done it before where they come down to a chair in front, a chair seat, or they can come down pretty close to the floor. But there's a lot of support in the belly. There's a little bend in my knees, but there's a lot happening in this back chain to help with the deadlift. So here we go. I'm supporting my weights with my shoulders a little bit, supporting my upper body with my core, coming forward. And now I get to feel the legs too. So back of your legs, they help pull you up all the way up to standing. And forward, soften my knees a little bit, but not so much that I bend them. And then coming up, come up to nice and straight. Here we go, forward. Shoulders supporting the weights. Core supporting the back. Back of the legs supporting all of this movement, really. Back of the legs. You could even try to squeeze back here. Here we go. 5 more. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Let's do some tricep kickbacks. So as long as everything is feeling okay here, we're going to go with this route. If you're feeling too fatigued for this position, you can always come to a chair, or you can come down to the hands and knees position and work in the same way. So we're going to bring those shoulders in, elbows in at the sides, kick back for your triceps. And one thing that makes this kind of interesting too is to just at the very end of your movement, taking the fingers, especially my first finger and thumb, and pushing that back right at the end. Have you noticed that? Coming forward, and then I'm going to push through a little bit, taking the end of the dumbbell kind of way out past my hips, pushing back. Kind of like that double pulling you would do in classic ski. And actually you do a little bit of this in the skate skiing too. When you're heading up a hill, there's a lot of movement that's push, push, push here. And it's all about triceps, biceps, and a lot of cardio. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, how's everybody doing? You would not believe how warm it is here today. I'm actually kind of misty. It's not 70 or anything, but it is warm in my space. So I'm definitely feeling some of our work. All right, let's take it wide again. Make sure we get in enough of our squatting legs. And now we've got our weights with us. So let's go ahead and keep those weights. Come on down and back up. Come on down and up, overhead and down, overhead and down, over and down, up and down, up and down. Here we go. 4. Don't forget to lower your hips. 3, 2, 1. Nicely done. All right. Oh, before we do that, before we set them down, let's do a round of bicep curls. Back to center. Here we go. Up and down. Good. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's roll the shoulders with the weights. Good. We're going to hold the weights. If they're too heavy, you can grab your band for this. Mine are pretty heavy, but I'm interested. I'm going to see how my elbows are right in at my body. And I'm going to keep that. And we're going to go out. Just a little here. Biceps are getting some work. Probably more work than I would with my elastic for sure. 5, 4. Do you feel at the end of that range? 3. Some squeeze in the back of the armpit. 2, 1. Ooh, definitely enough of those. Good. Now I'm going to put the weights down. They're just too much fun. Okay, come to the back of your space. Mouth and jaw, and just kind of checking in here before I continue. I'm going to take those arms up overhead. Feels good to do so with the arm work we did. And then taking ourselves into that nice Pilates, pulling back, getting all the length out of the spine, but also we're starting to bend and get that flexion. So flexing forward, belly pulls back. And taking that as far as you can, and then you get so far over that we're going to walk forward. Now you can take your feet, or excuse me, your knees down and walk forward that way, or you can kind of hit a downward dog in the middle and then plank. Reaching back through the heels, we're more in that parallel space, head straight out, supported by the neck, supported by the spine, core pulling up to support the pelvis. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Come on down and find one side to be on. And come down to the elbow. Elbow underneath the shoulder, palm down. Knees come forward, comfortable. You'll find a comfortable spot here. And probably a bunch of you know what's coming. So I'm going to press down into the elbow. I can be kind of slumpy. This is like not pressing down. My shoulders can kind of just collapse there. So I'm going to push down into my elbow, make this really nice and strong. And I can feel that pressure. Now, if you need more padding for your elbow, just take your sticky mat and give yourself another layer. Palm down. I also want to feel my fingers here. All right, here we go. We're ready to lift the hips. Good. Lifting the hips. Haven't done this one in a while. It's a great core exercise in this side plank. You can take that top foot out if you'd like. You can take your top arm up if you'd like. Good. Don't lose that hip coming down. 3, 2, 1. All right, and then coming back down. I'm going to come all the way up off of that elbow. Now, when you came up, did you notice that you maybe needed to adjust? I started to feel a little bit more moving, wanting my body wanting to move forward. So I might take that elbow just a little bit further this time. So under my shoulder, but maybe just a little hair further out as well. Because now when I come up, I end up kind of pushing myself, my head a little bit forward. But I want to do that again. So let's stay on this side and then let's find our way up. Yeah, still feeling my elbow, not in a bad way, just that's where the weight's going, isn't it? A little bit into my forearm and wrist. Good. Maybe I take some of those hard things out of lifting my feet and hands, just working on how nice and strong I'm getting on the oblique side there. All right, whew, coming down. Let's come all the way down to the belly. Mouth and jaw are soft. And then reaching through the feet, each side, kind of lifting and reaching that leg up. And then turn the feet out into more of a Pilates V here. Now, that doesn't mean your heels have to touch or anything. Just turning the toes out to notice how that feels. What happens as you turn the legs out in this position in your body? Is that easier on one side? And then reach so much in that position that you are able to lift the toes, maybe lift the feet in this outward position. Head is still down. I'm trying to keep things out of my back. So that means I'm not lifting my feet very much. But lots going on for my legs, my glutes. And then relax and bring everything back to parallel, or even the opposite. You could take your toes toward each other. And then we're going to come back, same side, onto your side, supporting the head, bringing the legs up like we have them for side planks. And take your hand to your back side to where your sacrum is. And just to give yourself a little bit of idea where your body is in space. Right now, your hips are stacked and your hand is back there for a little guidance. We're going to take that top leg up and down, up and down, feet together, up and down, up and down. Now, if you're true to yourself about where your pelvis is, maybe you want to take it too far. Do you notice where you start to feel that whole pelvis tipping? And we're going to try not to go past that, right? We don't want to go there, because I think you'll probably find you're working really well in this small range of motion. You're feeling that around the hip socket someplace. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Take the legs out a little bit toward the front of your mat. Top foot lifts, and we're going to circle. Nice controlled circles. Same thing. I don't want my pelvis moving so much, or my foot being such a big circle that my pelvis moves. And I'm going to go the other way. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, hip circles, but the pelvis can stay put. Very good. Okay, let's come all the way over to the other side. And I'm back to, you thought I might forget to do the side planks on this side. I'm not forgetting. So I'm going to find that spot for my elbow again. Sometimes it's just a little maneuvering to see a little bit further, just a couple centimeters forward, ready to push down through the elbow so my shoulder feels supported, and up I go. Softening the face and jaw, Maybe taking that top foot out. It could be resting on the floor, just my toes. Hand could come up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming down. Coming up and shaking it off. One more time, down. Finding that good old spot. Maybe my hand can come to that underside, and you can really sense how much those core muscles are helping here. Really lift the hips. So there's a little bit that can happen in the side body here, not just the core, but going into the leg that pushes down onto the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and down. All right, on to hands and knees. We'll come back and get those clamshells. And just like we were doing on our belly, we're going to take the feet back, only we're going to turn out the feet a little bit. And we're going to turn out the feet, both of them, so that we're kind of in a Pilates V back here. Now I started in a little bit too high with my hips, so now that I've got my feet situated, hips come down. Reaching through the heels. Noticing where my head is aligned. Pushing the floor away, strong shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees down in parallel. Child's pose. Nicely done. I'm going to come back to hands and knees. Knees under the hips. I'm going to take one foot back, turn that foot out. Now, not so much that I'm going to come onto kind of a side plank position. Both hands are going to stay down, hips toward the floor. And I'm going to see if we can do a little lift here. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Toes are turned out. For a lot of people, this is where they like to work. We're going to really make it happen. I'm always preaching, keep your toes and knees toward the floor, kind of keep it in parallel here. I'm letting you go ahead and open that hip, externally rotate, and then work with the glute. 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring that in. And let's bring the knees kind of together, but let's sit toward that full side. We'll get a good glute stretch at the end here. I feel this a little more in my back, but you might feel it in the side of the leg. And come back to center and the other side. And take that foot out, turn it out, and lift. Three, 2, 1. Bring that leg in. You can bring both knees together, kind of sit off to the side. Hands can go to the other side. And then coming down on that second side where we left off, we're going to come to the back of the mat, knees together. Hand in the back to feel, where's my sacrum back here? Knees open for clamshell. Feet stay together. I'm always so amazed how little movement is needed for me to wake up the muscles that I'm trying to get at here. If I don't move the pelvis. Good. We have 5 left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Even without the band around the knees, remember we could do that too, right? Add a little resistance here, put a little sandbag here, and
it would probably stay because we're not lifting that leg very much. And then you've got even more to push against. Take the feet out. Bottom leg stays steady, top foot lifts, and we're going to circle. And again, now we need a little more core here because we're trying to stabilize the whole body. And I'm trying to move from the hip, not a movement in the pelvis. And the other way. 8, nice circle. 7, 6, 5, find this way. 4, a little bit more challenging. 3, 2, 1, making those nice big circles. Let's do 3 more circles forward. Get those nice big circles, but again, we're trying not to move the pelvis. All right, take that leg forward. Maybe give it a little. This side for me was starting to talk. Other side is fine. That's how it goes. Good. All right, I'm gonna take that all the way up again to seated. We haven't actually been here very much in this class. We started out standing, kind of started to get down toward the floor, and I thought we'd end with some work on the floor with some more Pilates-like things. So toes forward, feet forward. If it feels more comfortable to let the knees pop up, you're welcome to do that. Taking the arms out in front. And we're going to take that little twist again. And center. Twist. And center. And center. And center. This time let's go twist, pulse, center, twist, pulse, center. Heels, toes, knees, they're not shifting. The shift is in the belly. The belly is holding. The upper body, torso, gets to do the movement. That old idea, let's come center and let yourself just kind of move, fold forward, whatever feels nice here. Maybe grabbing onto the calves or ankles or feet. Nice deep breath. It's hard to do a twist if we don't have resistance, right? So it's nice to have that idea of I'm solid here and here's where I move. All right, we're going to take this into a roll down. So maybe you have your band handy, you'd like that. Maybe you'd like to use the backs of your legs to roll down really nicely. Taking the arms overhead. Bringing the arms back to the legs. Finding your way up over that difficult part, reaching forward if you'd like. And we'll roll back down. Feels good for me to have some feedback from the floor. I'm going to bring the feet in and I interlace the fingers, bring the hands behind the head. Kind of that upper back area felt like, yeah, you did some stuff with it earlier, but not a lot. Feels kind of nice. All right. So we're going to come up into your mini crunch. Good. Thank you, Anne, for the comment, and you'll have to tell me which one that was. So hands behind the head and coming up into that mini crunch. And slowly coming back. Inhaling here. And then exhaling, lift the head. Keep exhaling. Come on up. And let's go ahead and take hold of the back of the legs again. Legs come up. Take hold of the back of the legs. Assess how much you're using your arms. And go ahead and use them to lift you up a little bit more. just like we do when we have the strap behind the head, only I think I like this a little better. And then I back down on my effort. Can I keep myself up here and release the hands, let them get a lot lighter? I still have this nice open chest, but I'm just not pulling as much. I'm not supporting as much with my arms or hands. I'm using my belly, and I'm bringing the body back down. Go ahead and bring the legs in. Nice. If you feel so inclined, you could straighten the legs. I'm gonna grab on a little bit, let the pelvis come up. Just kind of changing the fulcrum here of where the weight is landing. Felt kind of nice. Good. We're going to take one leg over the other here. I knew I had something other good thing in store here. So one leg over the other, like you're crossing your legs. And then pulling that leg in. Probably going to get into a little bit of your deeper muscles into the glute or in the hamstring on that side that's crossed over. And you can decide if you'd like to be passive about this, or you can sort of push against the leg that's coming up, right? So this top leg, or you can push with your hand, but I like pushing with my leg better. So I'm getting that stretch coming in, but it's like my legs are pushing against each other, right? So get a little more dynamic activity in the muscles themselves. Rather than just saying muscles, please stretch. I'm saying muscles work and stretch. And then let's come back down and switch sides, crossing over, coming up, kind of testing it out. How does it feel to be passive in this, where I'm only moving with the bottom leg toward me? And then what if I take my top leg and sort of press into, it's not sort of, I'm pressing into my bottom leg. It feels different. I don't feel as much of that stretchy feeling, but I definitely feel work going on deep in the glute area, a little bit in the hamstring. And then coming down and uncrossing the legs. And letting the face relax here. Let's keep softening the face, the forehead, space between the eyebrows. The top row of teeth that are set in the gums. Let the gums, if they could relax, what would that feel like? If the tongue could rest down in the mouth. And then as you're ready, we're going to slowly open the eyes, taking in your surroundings, which might be your ceiling. Or maybe you come up to seated. And then take your eyes without moving your head and look up. Just look up for a little while. At 12 o'clock, if your eyes could look at the numbers on the clock, it's 12 o'clock up high toward your forehead. And again, without moving your head, looking down at 6 o'clock, so maybe down toward the nose. And whatever else is in the periphery. And looking straight ahead. And then let's look at 3 o'clock. Again, just the eyes moving. Center. And then 9 o'clock. Looking left. If you look the other way, it's no big deal. You're opposite of what I did. Just keeping your gaze over there. Back to center. And acclimating to center again. And as you're ready, rolling to your side. And pressing yourself up. All the way up to seated. And there we go. Best wishes for the next week, and next week, hopefully, I get all of the boxes checked. I'm not sure what happened today. We've had good audio, but I haven't been able to hear you. So I tried to fix that, and then you lose the other thing. So we'll figure it out. And Anne had a comment about one of the activities she said kind of messed her up. She had it from PT as well, and maybe she's talking about that monster walk. I'm not really sure. I'll come in and see. The one where we had the band around the knees. Yeah. So yeah, that was suggested to me. It feels okay to me, but I could see where there's not a lot of stability in it. So maybe we can find a way to modify it so that it's still, or we toss it out altogether if it's really not that, if it's going to hurt more than hinder, right? So anyway, thanks so much, everybody. If you want to stay in chat, I'm able to do that. I'm just going to stop the recording, and otherwise wish you the best week. Bye-bye.